38-year-old Christy Cornwell vanished without a trace on August 11, 2009, while walking near her parents' home in Blairsville, Georgia. She was talking with her boyfriend on the phone. The only clue? Her chilling final words overheard by her boyfriend were, "Don't take me," and then it was followed by silence. Christy was a former probation officer, strong and street smart. Her disappearance shocked the quiet mountain town. Days turned into weeks. Authorities were baffled, until another woman in North Carolina came forward with a terrifyingly similar story. She'd been followed by a man in a silver Nissan Xterra. The same type of vehicle was spotted near where Christy disappeared. The suspect was soon identified, 42-year-old James Scott Carringer. He had a violent past, wanted for rape and attempted abductions across multiple states. But before police could arrest him, Carringer took his own life in a dramatic standoff with officers in Atlanta. His cell phone records placed him exactly where Christy vanished. Still, no physical evidence directly tied him to the crime. Then, on New Year's Day 2011, over a year later, Christy's own brother made a heartbreaking discovery. Her burned remains were found just 9 miles from her last known location. She had been left in the remote woods, her killer hoping she'd never be found. Her exact cause of death could not be determined. Today, the case remains officially unsolved. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation believes James Carringer was responsible, but with no definitive proof, Christy's family continues to seek justice. She called 911 and whispered 2 chilling words, "Help me." Then the line went silent and Alyssa McLemore was never seen again. It was April 9, 2009, in Kent, Washington. 21-year-old Alyssa left home after learning her mother, who was gravely ill, had taken a turn for the worse. She told family she was coming back soon, but she never made it. Witnesses last saw Alyssa near 30th Avenue South, possibly approached by a green pickup truck with Oregon license plates. Hours later, something terrifying happened. At 9:15 p.m. the next night, Alyssa's cell phone dialed 911. The voice on the other end? Desperate and afraid. She said, "Help me." Then a male voice responded, "I'll hurt you." And just like that, silence. Alyssa was a young mother of a 3-year-old girl, caring for her dying mother and living with her grandmother. She was a proud Black and Indigenous woman, standing just over 5 feet tall, full of love and strength. Her mother passed away just days after she vanished, never knowing what happened to her daughter. The case quickly went cold. No suspects, no arrests, just one haunting 911 call and the memory of a missing woman who never made it home. In 2017, the FBI and Kent police began reanalyzing the case. Age-progressed photos have been released. But the 911 recording has never been made public, and leads remain scarce. Alyssa McLemore's case is one of many in a heartbreaking crisis, missing and murdered Indigenous women. Cases that often go underreported, investigated too slowly and too easily forgotten. In the early hours of February 28, 2013, a terrifying event unfolded in Seffner, Florida. Jeff Bush was fast asleep in his bedroom when the earth beneath him collapsed. One moment, he was sleeping peacefully. The next, a massive sinkhole around 20 feet wide swallowed not only his bed, but Jeff himself. His brother Jeremy awoke to a thunderous crash. Along with Jeremy's partner, they rushed toward Jeff's room, only to find a cavernous void where his bedroom once stood. Facing nightmare conditions, Jeremy plunged into the unstable ground, digging by hand, pulled back only when rescuers arrived, as the earth kept crumbling beneath him. Rescuers used cameras and sensors to search, but Jeff's body was never found. The house and 2 neighboring homes were torn down. The sinkhole? Filled with gravel, fenced off and marked forever as Jeff's final resting place. Shockingly, it reopened in 2015 and again in July 2023, each time prompting swift efforts to fill it again, leaving behind a double-fence memorial that stands as a chilling reminder. Sinkholes are tragically common in Florida's limestone foundation, but few are as devastating or as memorable as the one that claimed Jeff. Jeff Bush's disappearance beneath his own home remains one of Florida's most haunting mysteries. His body was never recovered, and every reopening of the sinkhole ensures he's not forgotten. On a stormy June evening in 2017, 10-year-old Kiaya Campbell left her Thornton, Colorado home with a teenage boy she trusted, but sadly, she never made it back. Kiaya was a bright, bubbly 10-year-old who loved music, dancing, and spending time with her family. That night, she and 15-year-old Aiden Zelmer, her father's girlfriend's son, went out to walk to a nearby store. But only one of them would return. Aiden came back alone. He claimed they got separated during a sudden rainstorm, but something about his story didn't add up. Kiaya's father reported her missing just before midnight. An Amber Alert went out. The next day, the community hoped for the best. But what came next shattered everything. On June 8th, less than 24 hours after she vanished, Kiaya's body was discovered in a drainage ditch, less than a mile from her home. She had been brutally beaten to death. The autopsy revealed severe blunt force trauma to her head, multiple skull fractures, and defensive wounds on her hands. It was a violent, personal attack, and soon, police zeroed in on the person they least expected. Aiden Zelmer, just 15 years old, was arrested. Investigators discovered disturbing evidence, a timeline that didn't match his story, injuries inconsistent with an accident, and indications of a sexual assault. He was charged as an adult with first-degree murder. In 2019, Aiden took a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. The other charges, including sexual assault, were dropped. He was sentenced to life in prison, with a possibility of parole after 40 years. Kiaya Campbell should be alive today, dancing, laughing, and growing up. Her story is a reminder that the most horrific acts can come from the most unexpected places. December 8, 2006, a seemingly ordinary day in Rocky Mount. But by night, tragedy struck when Julie Bowling was found shot dead in her own garage. Julie, 45, was a respected radiation oncology therapist and co-owner of the local Bowling funeral homes. That morning, co-workers went to check on her, only to discover she'd been murdered. There were no signs of forced entry, and conveniently, her husband was out of state on a scuba trip in Florida. Police delved into Julie's personal life and discovered shocking secrets. Her husband, Mark Bowling, had been having a long-term affair with a woman named Rose Vincent. The investigation revealed a deadly conspiracy. Rose Vincent admitted to shooting Julie in the garage. She confessed it was part of a plot orchestrated by Mark. He'd provided her with a map, instructions, and even threatened suicide if she refused. In 2008, both were indicted. Rose pled guilty to second-degree murder and conspiracy, receiving a 35-year sentence, with parole eligibility around year 28. Shortly after, Mark pled guilty and was sentenced to 15 to 19 years in prison. Mark died in prison in 2018 at age 47, serving his full term after admitting his part in his wife's death. Julie's brutal murder of a beloved professional and wife shattered her community. It remains a haunting reminder of betrayal and domestic violence. July 19, 2004, Lori Suarez, 27, didn't return from her morning jog. But what followed wasn't a disappearance. It was a cover-up rooted in betrayal. Lori was a bright and caring person who worked as a Wells Fargo assistant, a devoted wife nearly 5 weeks pregnant. That morning, her husband, Mark Hacking, called police saying she'd vanished from Memory Grove. A massive manhunt followed. Mark appeared grief-stricken, until cracks began to show. Mark was a known pathological liar throughout his childhood, often lying for attention whether it was good or bad. One lie investigators uncovered was that he wasn't the med student he claimed to be. He'd never even applied to UNC's medical school, and his web of lies were starting to unravel. By August, investigators zeroed in on Mark. He'd bought a new mattress while claiming Lori was missing. Then he confessed. He shot her in the head while she slept. He disposed of her body in a dumpster, Her remains were found weeks later at the Salt Lake landfill. In April 2005, Mark pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. He received 6 years to life, sentenced June 6, 2005, and was barred from parole until at least 2035. Lori's mother, Thelma, launched a scholarship fund in her name. She later said she forgave Mark, but will never forget. 21-year-old Lily James worked at St. Andrew's Cathedral School in Sydney, Australia. She was athletic, driven, and loved by students and staff alike. But behind the scenes, she had just ended a short but toxic relationship with a coworker, 24-year-old Paul Thigen. On October 25, 2023, Lily was lured into the school gym bathroom by Paul, who had placed a cleaning in progress sign on the door. Inside, he brutally attacked her, striking her more than 25 times with a hammer. The following morning, her father received a message from her phone. It led him straight to the horrifying crime scene. Lily's body was found and Paul was gone. 2 days later, Paul's body was discovered at the base of cliffs in Diamond Bay Reserve. Police confirmed it was intentional. An inquest in 2025 revealed the chilling truth. Paul had planned the murder. He stalked Lily, rehearsed his attack, and even watched her from afar in the days before. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was calculated. Lily's parents have since spoken out, calling for stronger awareness around coercive control and early signs of partner abuse. Her death wasn't just a personal tragedy. It was a wake-up call. Lily James had her whole life ahead of her. She was a daughter, a friend, a mentor, and she deserved so much more. A 14-year-old girl, full of dreams, was torn from her life and lost to a brutal crime. Emily Pike was a bright, artistic teenager from the San Carlos Apache Reservation. Faced with danger at home, she was placed in a group home in Mesa, Arizona, but was deeply unhappy there. She ran away 4 times from the group home, and on January 27, 2025, at around 7:45 p.m., Emily left once more and was never seen alive again. Her disappearance triggered a search, and weeks later, on February 14th, hikers stumbled upon human remains in garbage bags off Highway 60, about 100 miles from Mesa. The Pinal County Medical Examiner deemed it homicidal violence with blunt head trauma and dismemberment. Her hands and arms were missing, a horrifying and deliberate act. The Gila County Sheriff's Office, with help from the FBI, BIA, and Mesa Police, executed search warrants on homes, vehicles, and trailers. But no arrests have been made yet, although 3 unnamed persons of interest have been questioned. Rewards for information now exceed $300,000, including contributions from the FBI, San Carlos Apache Tribe, and Silent Witness. Emily's death highlighted a tragic pattern: Indigenous youth at high risk. In her honor, Arizona passed Emily's Law, creating turquoise alerts for missing Indigenous individuals under 65. If you have information, call Silent Witness at 480 Witness or contact the Gila County Sheriff's Office.